Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. Hey, man, we're back. We got another body cam for us today. We got Killer lives with dead body for 25 years. Are we talking about inside the home, or he just lived with the knowing that he killed? 25 years, bro.
When I read, let's see.
You read it, what?
I'm thinking like inside the home, like
or in the back.
Put up somewhere. I don't know. It's in
his vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But hey, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box
down below.
You already know where to go. If you want a first part, you gotta do it. Check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
like it in with a thumbs up.
Hey, let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what is up.
This is 59 year.
Sorry. I was adding to your song. I said you should have said we'll see what it's all about, but don't worry about it. Let's go.
Hit it in your nose.
No, it's
no, hit it in your nose. They be wanting you to sing a little bit.
I don't want to sing. So 59.
You got a better mic now. So go ahead.
No.
You tried to harmonize it earlier.
Yeah.
I'm trying, y'all.
You messed it up because you looked at me like, D, what you talking about?
No, I didn't.
59-year-old what?
I'm trying, y'all. Just can't blame my brother for trying.
Yeah.
This is 59-year-old Violet Rose. Violet is about to find out that she has been sleeping directly above a dead body for the past 25 years.
What?
I was going to ask the obvious question.
I was going to say we're here because you found him. Yes.
May I ask where?
Under one of the bedrooms.
Hey!
Okay, Violet, you didn't know it. You trusted him. Okay? It's okay, Violet. It's okay. I understand, Violet. I understand.
Oh my God.
You're going to get through this.
Oh, well, that's a shocker.
Yo, I'm sorry. I know I'm so dramatic.
No.
I'm so dramatic.
But you know that ain't the reason why I'm... But think about it like...
What?
Think about it like this. Like, if John Wayne Gacy's wife was living in a house... I don't know. So it had to have been buried in a crawl space, right? That she was sleeping on top of it.
Mm-hmm. That's what, yeah.
Or was it in a basement? And didn't we do a video where they dug and then they tried to cement? No, I seen something else. Somebody actually did do that. Yes, it was a balling one. They actually did bury and cemented them.
Was he a doctor?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they had to dig up the cement. And then, but we also watched one where she was in a process of doing that.
Yeah, in a process, but yeah. Okay, y'all. And again, I'm sorry. I know I'm dramatic. But what?
That's what we got today, y'all.
You're going to get through this.
Oh, well, that's a shocker.
Perhaps what is even more shocking is how this body got there in the first place.
Right.
Told me that she was at his house, and I guess they argued, and then he shot her.
Did he say what did he do with the body?
He put her under the slab in one of the bedrooms.
We want the body. Well, I understand that.
Is Kimberly on the property?
No.
Is there any evidence of her murder on the property?
Shouldn't be. No.
Every step of this is just inhumane.
All right, I say move, boys. Feet on the ground. Hands! Let me see your hands! Hands up!
It's insane. It's psychotic. That's what it is.
Okay.
Did you murder Kim?
No.
He's still gonna lie to you.
What you said?
34-year-old Kimberly Langwell went missing in July of 1999.
Vanished without a trace. Her purse and keys still inside the car. This case has captivated the public's interest.
Sadly, for 25 years, Kimberly remained missing, and her family longed for answers. Until now.
On July 9th, 1999, 34-year-old Kimberly Langwell went missing after finishing her shift at the Mobil Oil Refinery in Beaumont, Texas. Her car was later found 7 miles away, abandoned in a mall parking lot, but the vehicle was squeaky clean. With no witnesses and a teenage daughter at home, the investigators found it highly unlikely that Kimberly had disappeared by her own free will. The Beaumont Police Department immediately started interviewing people that could have been involved in Kimberly's disappearance. But at the time, there wasn't enough evidence to arrest anyone. The case went cold for 24 years until being reopened in 2023 after a true crime TV show reignited law enforcement's interest in the case. They went through the suspect list from the original investigation and began interviewing them one by one.
Bringing back some memories for you. It's been a long time.
As I sit here, it's hard for me to believe I wrote this. But obviously, it's my handwriting.
This is Frank McCormick. Frank was Kim's workplace supervisor back in 1999. Despite being a married man, Frank often showed up outside of Kim's house with fancy chocolates and handwritten love letters. But these romantic gestures quickly got out of hand. Frank became obsessed with Kim, and his letters were getting more and more concerning. For example, "Kim, I have developed this terribly strong crush on you. Something must be done about it. I can hardly work. It consumes all of my free time. Please help me to deal with this." Frank sent dozens of letters just like this. Since Kim had just left work before her disappearance, the investigators wondered if Frank had stalked and attacked her. However, Frank was not Kim's killer. Frank's alibi was that he had left work around 5 p.m. to prepare for a poker night with his buddies. He went home and showered, then went to a grocery store to buy playing cards and snacks for the night. He then went back home around 7 p.m., right when people started showing up. He even had the receipts to prove this. It didn't take long for the detectives to cross Frank off their list and move on to their next suspect. This is Kim's ex-boyfriend, Terry Rose. Terry and Kim lived together for 5 years, from 19...
He looks so different. Boy, agent is something else on it.
Boyfriend, Terry Rose. Terry and Kim lived together for 5 years, from 1993 to 1998. They then broke up and Kim moved out. But they stayed in touch for the next year leading up to her disappearance. Despite this friendly relationship, Kim's family told the investigators that Terry was extremely controlling, and he abused Kim both emotionally and physically during their relationship. He would also constantly keep track of Kim's whereabouts and bombard her friends with phone calls whenever she paid them a visit, even after their breakup. However, these obsessive phone calls suddenly came to a halt on the day that Kim disappeared. Kim's daughter Tiffany said that the last thing her mom told her was that she was going to Terry's house.
She called me and she had just gotten off work, maybe around 5:30. She told me that we had made plans that day that we were going to go out to eat. She told me that she was going to stop by Terry's, that she had to help him with something. I don't know. It was something about hanging a ward or something. I didn't really pay attention to it. Terry told me he didn't know where she was.
When Terry was questioned by the police, he said that Kim had stopped by his place after work to help him put up some 1x4s on the ceiling, and she stayed for a short time before leaving to pick up Tiffany. He later admitted to the authorities that he had no alibi after 5:30 p.m., up until he met up with his friend David Wiley a few hours later. They hung out playing pool until around midnight before parting ways. They then got breakfast the next morning. 25 years later, Terry was telling detectives the same story.
What's your theory on what happened to her? I don't really know.
Terry claimed that he and Kim were good friends right up to her disappearance, and he had no reason to harm her. He denied being obsessed and controlling following the breakup, and said that both of them had moved on by then.
Once we broke it off, I figured just leave her alone.
At this point, they didn't have any evidence to disprove Terry's story, so they went to speak with David Wiley.
Mr. David.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Good, how you doing?
Doing great.
Knowing Terry like you knew Terry, did he have anything to do with Kimberly's disappearance?
I don't think so. Not at all, and I just don't think he's that type of person.
David had nothing to say about Terry. He didn't know about Kim going to Terry's house and had no clue what Terry was doing before they met up to play pool. However, the detectives struggled to believe anything either man was saying. They brought the case in front of a grand jury, and Terry and David were both summoned to testify under oath. During their testimony, they told their usual stories, but for some reason, David was extremely nervous. Seeing his behavior under oath, the detectives asked David to come in for a polygraph test. David refused. However, hours later, his attorney reached out to the detectives and told them he had information to share. but he wanted immunity. The detectives agreed, and David went to the police station for an audio-recorded interview.
Our goal is you're here to tell the truth, okay?
David said that on July 9th, 1999, he had just finished work when he received a phone call from Terry.
He called me and asked me to pick him up at Walmart, probably between 5 and 6. He just said, when you get close to the parking lot, call me. I called. When I pulled up next to him, he was in Kim's car. He said that he did not like that parking lot and to follow him to the corner of Dowling and Phelan. There used to be an Eckerd's store there and Market Basket and other businesses.
So y'all left Walmart, you followed them
Down
to Colonnade?
Turned into the Colonnade shopping center parking lot. He stopped in a spot, got out and got in my truck, and I took him and dropped him off at his house and went back to my little trailer I was living in.
The two met up later that evening to play pool at the Corner Pocket, which was about 60 yards away from where they parked Kim's car.
Did you ask him, why are you in the car?
No, I did not ask.
They eventually parted ways, and the next morning they had breakfast together.
Ate breakfast at Iron Skillet. Just kind of a normal conversation about plans for the day.
It wasn't until later that week that Terry suddenly divulged the reason he was driving Kim's car.
Sometime, it was either Friday night or the next day sometime, he told me that she was at his house, and I guess they argued, and then he shot her. The only thing he told me was back of the head.
The back of the
kept
head.
This information for 25 fucking years.
Be for real. What you said?
Bro, ain't no fucking
And to be
way,
real,
bro. Lock your ass up too. Ain't no fucking way. I know he legally, I don't think they can do anything, but that's fucked up.
That's
for 25 years, you know this man killed her,
and he's just like, no, I don't think he could have it. He's not that type of person, huh?
I wonder how big is the community, because I wonder how you came across her daughter, her family,
you know what I'm saying?
Anybody related to her, and just been like, oh yeah.
I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to live with myself or sleep at night just knowing that information and never saying anything. But some people can.
I think I was too dumbfounded to ask anything else.
And then after that, did he say what did he do with the body?
He told me that he put her under the slab in one of the bedrooms.
One of the bedrooms? I mean, he said which one?
I believe he indicated it was the front bedroom closest to the street.
The detectives asked him why he didn't report Terry's confession to the authorities immediately.
I was shocked and astonished, didn't know what to think. I was afraid that I was involved in something that was going to have me in deep trouble.
He said that after his grand jury testimony in 2024, he had a change of heart.
After the days started going by, the thoughts just got too deep, too hard on me. I just couldn't put up with it anymore. I'm tired of it being on my conscience.
The more likely explanation for David coming forward was that he realized the detectives knew he was lying and preferred to work out a deal rather than being charged as an accomplice. Regardless, this interview was a huge breakthrough in the case, but before celebrating, they needed to make sure that David was being truthful with them. They started by asking David to do a polygraph test, which he agreed to.
Did Terry tell you he shot Kim?
Yes.
Did Terry tell you where he buried Kim?
Yes.
Not only was David being completely cooperative, but he also passed the polygraph test with flying colors. They then invited Terry to the police station to discuss the death of his father, who, in a completely unrelated incident, was murdered in 2004. But after that decoy conversation was over, the detectives in
bro.
I'm trying to get information about the death of the killer's father. Terry Rose was reported today on Television News as rejecting a plea deal of 40 years. In comment section of the Facebook page of the TV station, a person said that they know it's hearsay, but I heard he killed his father. Someone else replied that they heard that too. My question is, so what plea deal for 40 years? What's that pertaining to?
Yeah, with this is a little bit.
So my thing is, if then for 40 years, off of just him telling me, that means you have way more involvement. If they're willing to give you 40 years, that might, I don't fuck you.
Murdered in 2004. But after that decoy conversation was over, the detectives in Kim's case surprised him with a search warrant for his house.
How you doing? All right? Good. I don't know if you remember me. I'm one of the guys that I was working on the Kimberly Langwell case. It's been signed by the judge.
I want you to understand what all it entails.
Okay.
It's going to be a thorough search of the house, possibly under the house. So if there is information that you want to tell us, is Kimberly on the property?
My bad, y'all. My bad. I thought they were saying Terry probably did kill his daddy, too. If you can kill somebody else cold-blooded, it's a possibility you could have killed you.
And then
I had the names swapped.
Kimberly's would have been before in 99,
Yeah, 99.
and it's been years. Nothing's come up, and you like, oh shoot, well, I might as well. Don't know. Allegedly,
it's a possibility.
It's a possibility. Don't know. Don't even know if they were able to, like now, find. Well, oh no, because that's the reason why they brought him in. So no. Okay, let's go.
So if there is information that you want to tell us, is Kimberly on the property?
No.
Is there any evidence of her murder on the property?
Shouldn't be. No.
Did you murder Kim?
No.
So is there any reason why we're going to find any kind of blood or evidence or remains or anything like that anywhere on your property, sir?
No. I don't know what you want. We want the body. Well, I understand that. I don't have anything to tell you.
Okay. We just want to give you that opportunity.
Is this mine or
you can keep that?
Yes,
sir.
Right after serving Terry these papers, they went to inform his wife Violet of what was going on.
We have the search warrant to look for Kimberly Langwell all through the property.
Okay.
If there's anything that we need to know now before we begin, this is the time.
I honestly can tell you I don't know anything about where she is or anything about that. So y'all just do what you have to do. Well, if I hadn't known this, I would have washed the dishes. Don't be
At this point, it wasn't clear if Violet actually knew something about Terry's involvement. However, the only way to know who was lying was to see what was under Terry's house. Terry and Violet were allowed to leave for now, and a hotel was booked for them to stay in. But while these interviews were taking place, officers had placed tracking devices on their vehicles. The next day, Beaumont PD and multiple other law enforcement agencies went to Terry's house and executed the search warrant. They used GPRs, ground-penetrating radars, to scan each bedroom looking for any disturbances beneath the tiles. In Violet's bedroom, they discovered that the ground had been hollowed out.
They observed an area in the front bedroom of the house that was, it appeared that it was missing a piece of rebar. So that's kind of where we focused our search on.
As they broke through the tiles, they realized that cinder blocks had been stacked underneath the floor in order to prevent the tiles from collapsing. They began removing the cinder blocks and sifting through the dirt, and they quickly uncovered several personal belongings.
Within the first hour, we found a pair of broken sunglasses, a keychain, and a lighter were the first pieces of evidence that we found that were definitely out of place. We knew we were in the right area.
It wasn't long before they started finding bones.
They first located 3 small bones that we were able to verify were human toe bones. And then it took a couple more hours to kind of get to the main part of her remains, and she was wrapped in a blanket, and so luckily it appeared that everything was in there, but that's when we found the further extent of the rest of the bones.
The detectives were confident that these bones belonged to Kim, so they immediately filed a warrant for Terry's arrest. Using the tracker on his vehicle, they followed him to Tia Juanita's fish camp, where he was having lunch with Violet, and waited for him to exit the building.
I got eyes on. All right, I say move, boys. Feet on the ground.
Hands! Let me see your hands! Hands up! Hands up! Back up, Violet! Back up! Over here!
Get down on the ground.
Over here!
I'm gonna get her.
Don't hurt me.
Terry was taken to the back of a police cruiser and transported to the station to speak with the detectives once again.
We do have an arrest warrant for you for the offense and murder. You don't want to talk?
Got to say? What can I say?
Well, there's probably a lot to say. I mean, are you curious about what we have found or why you're here?
You got what you want.
Wow.
I won't be believed anyway. I'm not going to waste my breath.
I mean, I'm interested in what you have to say. I really am. I will hear you out.
He ain't got nothing to say.
Do you have anything to say to Kim's family?
No. With very little cooperation from Terry, he was transported to the county jail to await his arraignment hearing.
Terry Rose, you're being charged with the murder of Kimberly Langwell. Do you have anything to say?
Terry, tell us what happened on that night in 1999. This could be your only chance to tell the public right now, right here.
Do you have anything to say to Kimberly's family?
Did you do it?
Back inside the police station, Terry's family was still waiting for answers, so that
Man, you know how that's so... He done lived this life. He old as hell now.
How old is he?
I don't know.
I just know how old his wife is.
But let's just indicate... What's the between that two? Oh, so
25.
25. So he probably was around that same. He probably... Oh, shit. Kim will be Viola's age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Damn. So he's about 60. He's between 59 and 65, I feel.
Yeah.
Detectives brought Violet and Terry's brother and sister into the interrogation room to break the news.
I was going to ask the obvious question.
I was going to say, I assume we're here because you found something.
Him.
Yes.
May I ask where?
Under one of the bedrooms.
Hey, Violet. Come and sleep.
Okay, Violet. Violet, it's okay. Hey, Violet. You didn't know it. You trusted him. Okay? It's okay, Violet. It's okay.
Sleeping there.
I understand, Violet. I understand.
She said she'd been sleeping there for 20 years, so they got married 5 years afterwards. Well, she moved in. I don't know necessarily how long they've been married. They could have been married before or been dating, or they, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
You're going to get through this. You're going to get through this.
You got friends? I know. Okay. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, well, that's a shock.
The excavation team back at Terry's house worked for 13 hours straight to make sure they had every last bit of remains. By the morning, they had recovered an entire human skeleton. All of the evidence was sent to the crime lab, and it was eventually confirmed through dental records that the remains did, in fact, belong to Kim.
I'm so very grateful to have my mother back. Not in the way that I wanted her, but to know that she's no longer being held is a good feeling.
An autopsy revealed that a gunshot wound had penetrated the back of her skull, suggesting that Kim was killed execution style. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Terry pled not guilty. His bond was set at $1 million, a price he was unable to pay, so he remained in the county jail awaiting his trial. After several delays, his trial was set for December 8th, 2025, but before that date came, in August, Terry was offered a plea deal. If he went to trial and was found guilty, his sentence would be anywhere from a minimum of 5 years to a maximum of 99 years in prison. This plea deal reduced that maximum sentence to 40 years, with the possibility of parole after 20, in exchange for a guilty plea from Terry.
And do you want to reject that offer and have your case set for trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Terry rejected this plea deal because he saw it as an insult. We know this because following this hearing, he discussed it with his son, Terry Rose Jr., over a jailhouse phone call.
That 40-year offer was like an insult. I'm 68 years old. 40 years, you got to do 20, so I'd be 88, and then I go before the parole board, and you know Tiffany's going to be there to say no, and then I got to wait another 6 months and go again, possibly. You know, I'll be 90 years old before I get out, and then I got to deal with parole for the rest of my life.
Who gives a fuck, you stupid, arrogant?
Like, what? Because I'm like...
At least she was able to live your life. Her life was cut short at 34. She never got to see her daughter graduate. She never had to see grandkids. She never had to experience love because your ass was horrible to her. Well, love beyond, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what she had before.
Yeah.
But she did experience love from her daughter.
From her family.
Yeah. So, but she never got to reach old age. She never saw life beyond the 90s,
You robbed her of all of that.
You've been living these past 25 years.
Facts.
You've been living. She hasn't. And she hasn't even been laid to rest peacefully. By loved ones and people who cared. You just stuff her underneath your house and buried her and moved on with
living your life in the same house for 25 years.
And you probably didn't honestly tried to forget about her. Let's be real. You probably have tried to forget about her and said, bump her, I'm moving on with my life. And you just been...
Come on. You were able to get married? She wasn't. Nothing,
man. But you talking about some 40 years is an insult? 40 years ain't enough, bitch.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm not accepting. Oh, man.
Put his ass on death penalty then. I wish that they would do that.
The 40s, people die in their 40s and 50s all the time. That'd be sweet. I mean, yeah.
Oh, you have to.
For the rest of my life? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm not accepting. Oh, man. She's in her 40s. People die in their 40s and 50s all the time. That'd be sweet. I mean, yeah, that'd be sweet. I will pee in her cup, send it to y'all to pour on her grave.
Wow.
And the song about as stupid as
what
his
you
damn
said?
daddy.
Since you would have been honest and said, look, I was out messing around on you. I'll do that. Oh, yeah, I'll set you right up. Since you would have been honest and said, look, I was out messing around on you, I could have just walked away, not had a problem, and that just would have been a problem. But no, she had to keep her mom's secrets.
Terry must not have realized that this phone call was being recorded because he just revealed what his motive was for killing Kim.
Since you would have been honest and said, look, I was out messing around on you, that just would have been a problem.
Clearly, Terry was lying when he said that he moved on following the breakup.
Once we broke it off, I figured just leave her alone.
Like her family said, you still control her even after y'all had broken up. Like, be for real.
Because also, what control is what? Also, 9 times out of 10, abusive. Let's be real. And her daughter has no bearings to you because obviously you're not her father. So what the fuck? She owe you
nothing.
Once the phone call with his son was submitted as evidence, Terry's defense team quickly changed their mind about the plea deal. 1 week before his trial, his attorneys reached out to the prosecutors and said that Terry was willing to plead guilty. The prosecutors offered the same conditions as before, a maximum of 40 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 20, in exchange for a guilty plea. And Terry agreed.
You're charged with the first-degree felony offense of murder from July 9th of 1999, and how do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty because you did what they charged you with?
Sort of. Yes. Yes.
No, we're not playing. Hold on. You answer my question, Mr.
Right.
Burbank. I'm not questioning you. Did you do what they charged you with in cause number 24 DCCR 1369?
Yes.
His sentencing hearing took place on December 16th, 2025. The prosecution wanted to make sure Terry would spend the rest of his life behind bars, and convincing the judge to hand down the 40-year maximum sentence would guarantee that. The first person they called to the stand was David Wiley. He told them all about the night Kim disappeared and the moment that Terry told him about the murder, before giving a half apology to Kim's family.
Is there something you want to say to Tiffany McGinnis and her family?
I wish I'd have came forward right when it happened.
The defense tried to discredit David by suggesting that he only spoke up because he was worried about being charged as an accomplice.
Back in 99, July of 99, how many times did the police come and talk to you?
I think just once.
Did you take part in trying to find Kimberly?
No, I did not.
You said at one time you were an employee of Terry, right?
Yes.
During that time, you would see him on a daily basis?
Generally.
Never said one thing to him saying, hey, man, you got to say something to somebody.
No.
Never did. Never went to the police.
No.
How many times did you talk to the police between the original time in 1999 and 2024 when they came to your house just before Thanksgiving?
None.
You had a chance to tell them when they came to your door, right?
Yes.
I think it was two detectives, Detective Wilson and Detective Tamayo.
Yes.
You didn't tell them that.
No.
After that, you were called back into the grand jury, correct?
Correct.
And you could have told them then.
Correct.
However, David's intentions were irrelevant to the state's case. During the testimony of Detective Heather Wilson, they made it clear that David Wiley coming forward was the sole reason that Kim's remains were even discovered.
25 years after she went missing, Kimberly Langwell's body was discovered under Terry Rose's house. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
With a gunshot wound to the back of her skull, consistent with what David Wiley said Terry Rose told him he did.
Yes.
Shot her in the back of the head.
That's correct. Yes.
This showed that regardless of David being complicit in the cover-up of Kim's murder, he was still hands down a credible witness. The bottom line was that Terry was the one being sentenced, so the state focused on his culpability and his actions following the murder.
At any point in your investigation, has Terry Rose ever indicated he knew what happened to Kimberly Langwell?
No, he did not. We had interviewed him several times, and he indicated that he did not know where she was.
In all this investigation, has there been any evidence to suggest this could have been an accident or unintentional act?
No, sir.
Bullet wound in the back of the head is pretty telling, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Hiding a body under your home for 25 years and lying about it, what does that indicate to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a massive cover-up for sure.
Obviously, Terry's actions had a profound effect on Kim's daughter Tiffany, who was just 15 years old at the time of her mom's disappearance.
Can you explain to the court what those first few days were like, not knowing where your mom was or what had happened to her?
It was terrifying. It was shocking because I had just talked to her. She was just on the phone with me, and she was excited for our plans. She was joking with me, and so I was lost. I didn't know what to think. 15, my mom is the person that I go to for everything. No siblings, it's just been her and I. So lost, very lost. You know, the first year, I think I threw myself into anything I could to try to get through life, to not think about the fact that she wasn't there. But then you go home and you don't go home to your mom anymore. And so life is different. It looks very different.
During this terrible chapter of Tiffany's life, Terry did very little to help find Kim, but he did do one thing.
Was there physical searching going on, people looking for her?
Yes.
Were there billboards?
There was a billboard.
Do you know who put that billboard up?
Terry Rose did.
Terry Rose put up a billboard to help find your mom.
Yeah, to find my mom when he knew where she was at.
They recovered her remains and did the testing and the DNA testing and said, yes, we know this is Kimberly Langwell. Were you finally able to lay her to rest?
Yes, sir, we were. I would like him sentenced to at least 40 years. I think he deserves that.
If one piece of evidence was going to convince the judge to give Terry 40 years, it was the state's exhibit number 1, the jailhouse phone call with his son.
You know, I'm not like a psychopath, sociopath, crazy. You know, I'm not none of that. I'm just, I had a bad day, I dealt with it wrong, and yeah, I'm got to deal with it.
She's in her 40s, people die in their 40s and 50s all the time.
That'd be sweet.
I mean,
yeah, that'd be sweet. I will pee in her cup, send it to y'all to pour on her grave. I'll do that.
The defense claimed that Terry's comment about not being a psychopath was true, citing that this was the only crime he had ever committed.
You have a gentleman here, though, unlike a lot of other cases that you see before this court, that has no record. He has gone 68 years, and there is no record. But you have an individual that has not been in trouble, that has been employed, except he kept a secret. And he kept the secret to the detriment of the family that was grieving at the time. That wanted to know where their loved one was, especially a 15-year-old girl. And that he can't erase.
They also said that Terry's offensive comments about Tiffany were a result of the pending civil suit that Kim's family had filed against him. But the state set the record straight, saying that Terry's comments in the phone call clearly had nothing to do with the civil suit.
No. The phone call you heard, Judge, was him talking about how it greatly inconvenienced his life to have to deal with the parole board should he ever make it that far. And that no doubt Tiffany McGinnis would tell the parole board not to let him out early. That's what he's complaining about. Mm-hmm. And his son, who's the other end of that phone call, mentions, well, maybe something will happen and she'll die. She's in her 40s. And his response to that is, I would gladly pee on her grave, Your Honor. And the reason I play that, this man has no remorse.
None at all.
No, you don't. Feeling whatsoever for what he did to Tiffany's mother and what he's done to this family.
If you want to testify, you can get up here and testify. Otherwise, you have refrained from doing that, and so stop talking.
And on that call, he blames a then 15-year-old girl for not telling him that her mother had moved on. And that's sick and twisted, Your Honor.
Yes, it is.
No more sick and twisted than living in a home with your murdered ex-girlfriend under your floor. A home that he later shared with his common law wife. Every step of the way has been a slap in the face to Kimberly's family.
She ain't gonna tell you my shit.
Every step of this is just inhumane. To put up a billboard and pretend you're trying to help find her is, it is vile.
Yes, it is.
It is inhuman, and it is not worthy of any consideration from the court, Your Honor. I'm asking the court to enforce that full 40 so Terry Rose spends what's left of his life behind bars, Your Honor, because that's what he deserves.
Yes,
it was now time for the judge to hand down Terry's sentence, and quite frankly, she was disgusted.
It's not often that I'm at a loss for words, and honestly, it's because I have too many words. And anything I say is not going to help Tiffany and her family other than getting this over with. But there's just certain things that I can't even look past to not point out. The fact on that phone call that you said you're not a psychopath is just beyond me. Who isn't a psychopath that kills someone that they once cared about and buries them in their house and lives on top of them for 25 years? I would think that's the definition in Webster's dictionary of a psychopath. And Tiffany's right. 40 years isn't enough. There is a part of me that wishes I had not accepted this plea agreement and that we had gone to trial last week, because I do think a jury would have given you life for 99 years. I actually do. And the fact that you thought you wouldn't is the most narcissistic thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life. I mean, there's just so much more. The billboard, I mean, it's insane. It's psychotic. That's what it is. I hope that today gives Tiffany at least some final closure on all of this and her family. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 40 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. If I had 50, I'd give you 50. If I had 60, I'd give you 60. Whatever it was that the cap was going to be, after hearing all this, it would have been whatever it was.
Finally, after 26 years, Kim's family had some closure knowing her killer would be locked up for good. Wow. But before Terry was taken away, Tiffany spoke to the courtroom one last time.
For 25 years, I woke up and I went to sleep with the same unbearable questions. Where is my mom and what happened to her? The pain of not knowing is indescribable. It is grief, it is fear, and a deep sense of abandonment that never let go. The reality that she was buried beneath this man's house all of these years, held captive even in death, is unbearable. For Terry, do you remember me? That was the first thing you said to me when you approached me just 3 years after my mother disappeared. Then you asked, did you ever find your mom? I was stunned that you had the nerve to speak to me at all, and horrified by what you said. You were taunting me, knowing the entire time that you had my mother. You referred to the day you murdered my mother and buried her beneath your bedroom as a bad day. That bad day cost me everything. It stole my childhood, my sense of safety, my trust, the future that her and I planned, and the chance for my children to ever know their grandmother. You have no regard for human life. Listening to you and your son, Terry Rose Jr., speak so callously about my death
about how happy it would make you if I died so you could pour pee on my grave shows the depth of the evil you carry. It reveals a family that treats human life as disposable. You are a murderer. Your son clearly has learned to view life the same way you do.
Facts.
And now he passes that to his son, your grandson, who also awaits trial for murder. You all are vile, vile human beings.
That's a toxic ass name. That is a toxic.
Terry Lee Roaster. Chill. Wow.
Murder. You all are vile, vile human beings.
Yep.
Terry Rose was transported to the Dieball unit in the Texas Department of Corrections and will be eligible for parole at the ripe age of 88.
I'm feeling relieved, a little bit of relief that this is finally over. Happy to walk away and know that we don't have to come back and do this anymore. I want people to remember my mom more than anything. To me, that's what's most important, is that she is remembered.
Yeah. Dang, bro. Rest in peace to Kimberly. And my condolences to Tiffany and the rest of their family. This was crazy.
So tragic, man.
So tragic. So heartbreaking. Yeah.
Hey, man. Y'all spam us up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about it for us in the comments, man. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid Assist.
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and C.
We are.
No time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar, 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 dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar, 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 dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.